Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to one of my all-time favorite videos to produce for you guys. This is another 5 nights of dinners. All of these recipes are amazing. All of these recipes are WW friendly and all of these recipes are honestly easy to make. Easy to make on a busy work night, busy weekend, busy after school. These recipes are absolutely easy breezy to make and they taste phenomenal. So if you want to see what 5 dinners I have planned for you, then all you have to do is stay tuned. For dinner tonight, I am going to be making pizza bagels. These are going to be homemade, WW friendly, but indulgent pizza bagels. And then we're also going to have a side salad. So let me show you what is in tonight's dinner. This is the Skinnyish Dish 0-point Crockpot Marinara. It is a WW staple for spaghetti, pizzas, these little pizza bagels, you name it. This marinara is so delicious and is 0 points no matter how much you have. We're also going to be using some of the Jimmy Dean turkey sausage crumbles. Some mini pepperonis. They didn't have any turkey ones, so I'm going to go ahead and just use regular. We'll just account for the points. You can use turkey pepperoni, but honestly, the point value isn't much different. And these these mini pepperonis are really good on these little pizza bagels. Also some Trader Joe's Lite shredded mozzarella and some minced onion. And we are going to top all of that onto one of these Western Bagel alternative baglettes. These are the smaller bagels. So you can have 1 bagel for 1 smart point or 2 for 3 smart points. So basically you can have 4 bagel halves for 3 smart points just for the actual bagel. These come from Western Bagel. These are the wheat baglettes. You can also purchase full-size bagels in a variety of flavors. Same with the bagelettes. They come in several flavors. I do have a discount code for Western Bagel that will save you 10%. You also can purchase their special they have running right now, which is 6 bags of bagels for $37, and you choose the bagels you want. So you can do the bagelettes, you can do the full size, you can do a mix, and you will also save an additional 10% off of that price with my discount code. So I will put that on the screen as well as link all of that information down in the description box below. But the full-size bagels are only 3 smart points and these bagelettes are only 1. So we are going to use these bad boys to make some pizza bagels. And then we are going to have a side salad. I'm going to mix some of this spinach and these protein greens together. We're going to top our salad with a little bit of mushrooms, some chopped up yellow pepper, some croutons, and this is the Skinny Kitchen ranch. Love this ranch. You can have 2 tablespoons of this ranch for only 1 smart point. I have shown this in a couple of my meal prep videos, but I will link the recipe as well down in the description box below. So let's get these pizza bagels started. We're going to pop these into our air fryer and then we will assemble our salad. So I've went ahead and opened up all of my bagels. I'm going to go ahead and prepare my 4 first and show you kind of the amount that I'm going to be putting on those and the points value. And then I will do my husband's separately. So what I've measured out here is half of a serving of the mini turkey pepperonis. This is a total of 3 smart points. This, in my opinion, is way too many for 4 bagel halves. So I'm actually going to use 1 smart point total worth of the turkey pepperoni. This is 1 smart point of the Jimmy Dean sausage crumbles. So I don't even know that I would use all of that either. And then I have also measured out 1 ounce of the Trader Joe's light shredded mozzarella. I don't know that I'll use all of this, but if I did use 1 point for the cheese, 1 for the sausage, and 1 for the pepperoni, that's 3, and then 3 for the bagel halves, 0 for the marinara. That's a total of 6 points. So that is my ultimate goal. So I'm going to go ahead and do these 4 here as my bagels. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and add a little bit of marinara sauce. You don't want to add too much just because it will make your bagels moist and soft and icky. So you want to add just enough to hold all of your toppings on there. And then I am going to set my 4 aside so that I know exactly which 4 of these bagels are mine so that I can just liberally add the ingredients to the rest for my husband. But you can't beat 4 bagel halves for only 6 smart points with real pepperoni, real mozzarella cheese, and some turkey sausage. So yummy. All right, so there are my 4 bagel halves with the marinara. Now I am gonna go ahead and only use a few pieces of this mini turkey pepperoni. Or gosh, I want it to be turkey, this mini pepperoni. So you can see here that I just need a few pieces. And again, this mini pepperoni really truly is perfect for these pizza bagels, only because it fits nicely on the actual bagel half, where the full-size pepperoni slices, they're just a little cumbersome. You have to bite through them in order to get through all of them on your little pizza bagels. So there is that. So that should be about 1 point worth of the pepperonis. And then I'm also going to add on some Jimmy Dean sausage crumbles. And again, I'm not going to be using all of this. So that will help if I did use a little over 1 point worth of the turkey or of the pepperoni pieces. This will help compensate for that by not even using this whole thing of the sausage crumbles, which again, this is 1 smart point. So I'm going to get all this sausage on my pizza bagels here, and then we will top it with some mozzarella cheese. So here's what I have left of the turkey sausage crumbles. So I did not use all of them. And then lastly, I'm just going to sprinkle on my mozzarella cheese. And then I'm going to get these ready to go into my air fryer. Now, if you do not have an air fryer, you can just go ahead and cook these in the oven. But I'm going to go ahead and use up my air fryer. So there is my shredded cheese. So I'm going to set my 4 aside, and then we'll go ahead and prepare the rest of the bagels. And here are my 4. Once you have your bagels topped with all of your ingredients, I am going to go ahead and sprinkle just a little bit of Italian seasoning on each of my bagels, and these right here are mine. So I will make sure I strategically place those ones in my air fryer. And then lastly, I'm just going to add a little bit of minced onion just right onto the top of them. It will brown a little bit, should make it really, really delicious. You can also add your minced onion if you'd rather on top of your sauce before you add on your pepperoni and your pieces of turkey sausage or whatever toppings that you're going to use. And then let's get these into the air fryer. All right, and the pizza bagels are officially into the air fryer. Go ahead and shut that door. We want to get this at about 375, 380, and we're going to go ahead and do this for about, let's do 15 minutes, and I'll check them part way through, but then our pizza bagels will be done. And here is our completed dinner. So here is my salad with some of the spinach and the greens, as well as a little bit of mushrooms, yellow pepper, 1 point worth of croutons, and 1 point worth of the Skinny Kitchen Ranch. So my salad is a total of 2 smart points. And then here I have my Western Bagel Pizza Bagels. So you can see here that I have 4 halves. That is going to be a total of 6 smart points. So my entire dinner is 8 smart points. What a delicious, satisfying, indulgent dinner for only 8 smart points. So tonight's dinner is going to be crock-pot chicken and gravy. So for those nights that you just don't have time after work or after school to prepare a whole meal, this one is super easy and absolutely delicious. This recipe comes courtesy of Felicia Fitness Health. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need about 2 pounds of chicken breast. So that is about 4 breasts here. I measured it out and it is about 2.5 pounds of chicken. You're going to need 1 can of 98% fat-free cream of chicken soup, 2 cups of water, some pepper to season, and 2 packets of McCormick chicken gravy mix. All of that is going to go here into my crock pot, and I'm going to pair my meal with some corn, as well as some of these Trader Joe's frozen mashed potatoes. I love these. They are just little cubes. You pop them in your microwave and they literally come out to be absolutely perfect mashed potatoes. So let's get started on our chicken crock pot gravy. So the first thing we're gonna do is make our gravy and add it to our crock pot. So I have my 2 little packets of chicken gravy mix. I am just going to add them to my cup of water here versus in my crock pot because I already have a liner in there and I think it'll be a little bit easier to mix in here. And then to my gravy packets, I'm going to add my can of chicken soup. And then I am just going to season that with just a little bit of pepper. And then we're gonna go ahead and just give this a quick whisk until everything is combined. And then I will put it into my crock pot from there. Now you can mix this directly in your crock pot. Again, I just didn't wanna do that because I already have a liner and I didn't know if it would be as effective in mixing because of the crock pot liner. So I'll get this all mixed up. We'll get this in our crock pot and then I'll show you the next step. Once we have our gravy fully whisked and combined, that is going to go here in the bottom of our crock pot. And then we are going to actually add our chicken on top of our gravy mixture. So I have my chicken. Tip on this is make sure your chicken is fully defrosted or your gravy will become a little bit too thin. Can you see this right here? There's chicken, so he's right here with me. So there's 2 of them. I have 2 more chicken breasts here. And we're just gonna shove them into the gravy mixture. Make sure that they get immersed in there. And then you can cook this on high for 5 to 6 hours, or this is a great weeknight meal. You can cook this on low for about 10 hours. So I am literally going to just pop on my lid and get this started, and I'll show you the completed meal. I just walked in the door and here's what our chicken and gravy looks like. It looks absolutely delicious. So I'm just basically going to shred up this chicken and mix that in with the gravy. Woo, nice and steamy. And then I will plate up our dinner with the mashed potatoes and the corn, and I'll tell you exactly what I had as a serving size and show you the completed meal. But this smells and looks delicious. Here's what the chicken and gravy looks like all shredded up. I have my mashed potatoes in the microwave and then I am ready to eat this amazing dinner. And here is the completed dinner. So I have 9 pieces of the Trader Joe's mashed potatoes and 2/3 cup of the chicken and gravy. And then I just have some corn here and I'm just going to mix it all together. For dinner tonight, we are going to have 2 ingredient dough bagel dogs. This dinner is definitely one for the entire family. Super easy, super low points, but you definitely feel like you have an adult indulgence. And we are going to pair our bagel dogs with just a vegetable. So to make your dogs, you need 4 ingredients, easy peasy. You need some self-rising flour, some non-fat Greek yogurt, everything but the bagel seasoning or whatever seasoning you choose to use, and then some 97% fat-free or low-fat hot dog of your choice. So let's make some bagel dogs. So the first thing we need to do is make our 2 ingredient dough. I want to make 8 bagel dogs, so we need 1/4 cup of dough per dog. So I have 2 cups total of the self-rising flour, which would make that 1/4 cup per bagel dog. And then to that, I'm going to go ahead and add in my Greek yogurt. Now, I am not going to measure my yogurt. I never do. I basically just add yogurt until I feel like my dough is the consistency that I want. I don't want to have to add additional flour if at all possible. So I try to just kind of add my Greek yogurt in basically little by little until I have the consistency of dough that I'm looking for. And then I'll usually roll it out on my countertop so that I can combine it a little bit more. But you basically want to stir in Greek yogurt until your dough is crumbly, and then we'll transfer that onto our countertop. But we want it nice and crumbly. So this is the chunkiness that you want your dough before you actually transfer that to your countertop or your working surface. Once you transfer your dough to your surface, I usually just use my hands and I mix it together until it forms a ball, and then we'll roll it out and divide that into 8 even pieces. Again, we're looking for about 1/4 cup of the self-rising flour per hot dog. And then that way we know exactly what points to count it as. So if you use a different hot dog than the Hebrew National, your points to this particular recipe is going to vary based on the hot dog that you use. The Hebrew National taste really, really good, and they are only 1 smart point each. So you can add, you know, a second hot dog and it's still only 1 smart point each. So it would be 2 or 3 depending on the number of hot dogs. So that's what I like about the Hebrew National is the points don't go up just because you add an additional hot dog to the mix. So love that about them. Plus they taste really, really good. So you're just going to take your dough and you're going to knead it until it is a ball, and then we will roll it out. But you want that nice kind of smooth dough shape. Once you formed a ball with your dough, I always spray my rolling pin with some nonstick cooking spray. You can even spray your working surface, and that just avoids everything kind of sticking. So we're going to roll this out. We want this somewhat flat so that we can cut it into 8 strips because we want to be able to roll our dogs with strips. So we want to kind of roll this out into a somewhat flat like you would if you were going to make a pizza crust. And we want to try to make it as even thickness as we can as well. But I'm telling you, this dough is so good for absolutely positively everything. So I'm going to get this all rolled out and then we'll cut it into our 8 even strips. So from here, we're going to cut this into 8 sections. We want to get our sections as close to the same size as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and slice it down the middle and then slice it horizontally. And then I'm going to cut each one of those into 2 as even as possible sections. And that's what we're going to use to actually roll up our hot dogs. So each section will be used for a hot dog. So I'm just going to kind of ball it up, set these aside, and we'll basically roll 1 hot dog at a time. And then that way we make sure that it's the right shape that we're looking for our hot dog. So we're going to kind of re-roll that out a second time, just a little bit thinner so that we can roll that directly on to our dogs. And then from here, we're going to roll up our dogs. So I have my dough here and I've put my hot dog horizontally and I'm literally just going to roll it around my hot dog until it forms similar to a bagel dog. I'm going to set these aside because I want to season them before they go into my air fryer. So here's my air fryer. I have the Power Oven Elite. So basically I'm going to take my tray here of my dogs and I'm just going to put them into my air fryer. And we'll turn it on here to, let's go 375 for the 15 minutes that it automatically sets it to, and that should be perfect. My air fryer also has a light, so you can kind of see how your hot dogs are coming along. So I will be back when these are all cooked up. All right, our bagel dogs are out of the air fryer. Look at how delicious these look. Now you can also cook these in your oven if you don't have an air fryer, but I'll get all of this plated up. I'm just gonna have it with some green beans and I'll show you my completed meal along with the Smart Points. So here is my completed dinner tonight. I have 2 of my everything but the bagel hot dogs. Each of these hot dogs are 1 Smart Point, and I have about 1/2 of a cup of self-rising flour, which is 5 Smart Points. So this is a total of 7 Smart Points. And then I'm pairing that with some green beans that I just sprayed with some, I can't believe it's not butter spray, and some salt and pepper. And then I will dip that in some no sugar added ketchup and I'm having a diet root beer. So this entire dinner is only 7 smart points. For tonight's dinner, we are going to make a 1-pot chicken Parmesan pasta. This recipe sounds so good. It's definitely a family-friendly recipe. Sounds super good. The points are extremely low for being a pasta dish. So let me show you what is in our 1-pot chicken Parmesan pasta. You're going to need 2 cups of water, some sort of pasta, whatever your choice. Marinara, always use the Skinnyish Dish Zero marinara. If you do use a jarred marinara, you will need to adjust the points. But if you use the Skinnyish Dish or any other 0-point marinara, then the points will be what I list on the final screen. We have some pepper, some Italian seasoning, some salt, some minced garlic, some light mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan cheese, and 1 pound of ground chicken. So let's get started on tonight's dinner. So our first step is we need to cook our chicken. So I have my 1 pound of chicken, ground chicken, and then to that we are just going to add some spices. Whoa, they really layer this up. There we go. And to this we are going to add some salt, and we're just basically going to season the chicken while it cooks. And then we're going to add a little bit of ground pepper. And then we are going to add approximately 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And we're going to mix this up, and we are going to get our chicken completely browned. And then we'll remove it from the pan and add in our garlic. Once your ground chicken is pretty much cooked through, it's okay if it is a little bit pink because we are going to re-add this to our pot at a later time. And I didn't mention you wanted to use a fairly thick pot because this is a 1-pot meal. So everything will be cooked in this 1 pot, which is really nice. So we're gonna remove our chicken, and I'm just gonna put mine here on a paper plate and let it kind of cool while we add the rest of the ingredients to the pot. Once you've removed the chicken, I went ahead and drained the liquid from the plate. It is just going to be set aside. And back to our pan, we are going to go ahead and add some nonstick cooking spray to our pan just so our garlic doesn't stick. And then from there, we are going to add a pretty good sized spoon of minced garlic to the bottom of our pan. We're going to let this brown just a bit. Once your garlic browns just a little bit and becomes fragrant, we are going to add our 2 cups of water to our pan. And then we're also going to add in our 2 cups of 0-point marinara. And we are going to allow this to come to a boil before we add in our pasta. Once your sauce starts to come to a boil, we are going to go ahead and add in a little bit more Italian seasoning. And my marinara is pretty seasoned as well, but Italian seasoning, you can't go wrong. And then to this, we are also going to add in our pasta. So you can see here that I have several types of pasta. I usually do this. I will just use up what's in my pantry. So we want a total of 3 cups of pasta. So that was about 2 cups. And then I'm going to use up the last little bit of this Barilla Protein Plus that I have as well, which is pretty darn close to 3 cups of pasta. And we're going to mix that in. Oh, and this white pasta right here, this stuff, is Fiber Gourmet. This is a low-carb, low-calorie pasta. Love this stuff. I purchased it off of netrition.com, and I did have just a little bit left in the box, so I thought that I would just mix that in as well. And then the last thing that we're going to add to this is we're going to add back in our ground chicken, and then we're just going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes. I am going to turn this down a little bit here, and we're just going to go ahead and let this simmer for about 20 minutes. Let that pasta cook through. You do want it to remain at a low boil so that it does cook through your pasta. And then we'll be ready to add in our cheese. And really, you guys, our meal will be done at that point. Super fast, super easy. My pasta is coming along nicely. I did have to add a little bit more water, about half of an additional cup. And then I did add a little bit more of my 0-point marinara, only because I had to add that additional water. But now my pasta is cooked through, and we're going to add in some cheese. So we're going to add 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan. And then I have 1/2 of a cup of Trader Joe's light mozzarella. We are only going to add half of that though, because we want to reserve the other half to put on top of our pasta when we are finished, right on top of the pan here. So we'll get our cheese all mixed in. I am going to let my pasta just cook just a couple more minutes just to make sure that my noodles are cooked through. We'll add the last little bit of cheese and we will be good to go. This looks delicious. All right, I'm ready to add that last half of my shredded mozzarella to the top of my pan. I just want to try to get it pretty even on the top, and then we'll let that kind of cook through, melt a little bit, and our pasta will be good to go. And our one pot chicken parm pasta is done. This looks so delicious. You have 6 servings per pan, and a serving is approximately 1 cup. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 serving on my plate, and I will show you my completed dinner for tonight. But this smells and looks so good. And here is my completed dinner. So this is 1 cup of the chicken Parmesan pasta for only 5 smart points. That is phenomenal for pasta. And then I just paired it with a little bit of corn with some spray butter, some salt, and some pepper. So this is going to be my 5 smart point 1 pot chicken Parmesan pasta. Yum. For tonight's dinner, I'm going to be making a COPYCAT Panera Bread turkey chili. The turkey chili is my all-time favorite thing at Panera, and they only have it in the winter months. So I wanted to come up with a recipe that would allow me to have turkey chili whenever my little heart desires. So this is a recipe that I found online. I will be linking it down in the description box below. The original recipe comes from threecookingsisters.com. I did do some modifications, which I will let you know what those were as we go through what is in the turkey chili. You're going to need some salt, some ground turkey. I am only going to use 2 pounds of this 3-pound pack, but I did want to go ahead and defrost the whole thing, and then I'll measure it out on my food scale because the recipe does call for 2 pounds. You can also use 99% fat-free if you want to make this a 0-point chili, but I'm going to go ahead and use the 93.7. I really like the flavor better, and I'm okay accounting for the points. So I will be linking the points, including this turkey, in my recipe below. You're going to need 32 ounces of vegetable broth. You can use a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I do not have that, so I'm going to substitute with some Italian diced tomatoes and some tomato sauce to basically create my own crushed version of tomatoes. You're going to need some kidney beans, some garbanzo beans, some minced garlic, some tomato paste, some red chili pepper flakes, black pepper, chili powder, cumin, Italian seasoning. I am substituting minced onion for dicing up a regular fresh onion. I really enjoy minced onion in soups. I think it's a lot easier, and I enjoy the flavor a little bit better than big chunks of actual cut up onion. You're going to need some celery, 4 stalks, 2 carrots, and then I am going to substitute this COPYCAT. This is leftovers from another dinner that I had in my fridge. The recipe calls for some corn and some edamame, which is exactly what is in this COPYCAT, along with just a little bit of red pepper. So I'm just going to substitute this. But if you didn't want to go with the COPYCAT, you would just grab a can of corn and some edamame. So let's get started on our Panera turkey chili. The first thing I did here is measure out my 2 pounds of ground turkey, and then that way we are not overindulging in the one thing in this recipe that has points. Once we've measured out our turkey, we're going to go ahead and get our veggies chopped up. We need to dice up 4 stalks of celery. I did go ahead and peel my carrots already, but we need to go ahead and dice those up into chunks as well. We'll put them here in a bowl, and then we can start cooking our chili in a big stock pot on the stove. Once our vegetables are chopped up, we need to go ahead and get our ground turkey cooked down. So here is my 2 pounds of ground turkey. I have added just a little bit of cooking spray to my pan. I'm gonna go ahead and get this browned and drained, and then from there we will be adding in our vegetables, and everything is cooked in one pot. So make sure that you get yourself a nice big pot. I did go ahead and add a little bit of salt and pepper to my turkey. It is now cooked. I went ahead and drained it. From here, I am going to go ahead and add in a good heaping spoon of minced garlic. And then we are also going to add in our veggies. So what I have here is the carrots, the celery, and the minced onion. So we're going to add all of that. We are going to allow this to cook down until our vegetables have begun to soften before we add in some other of the ingredients of our Panera turkey chili. But this is already smelling so delicious. Once your vegetables start to soften just a little bit, you are going to cook them a lot longer, so you want to keep them in somewhat of an al dente state. We are going to go ahead and add in our box of vegetable broth. That's also going to help saute our vegetables a little bit better. And then at this point, we are also going to add in all of our seasoning and make sure that we get a little bit of flavor going in here. As far as the seasoning goes, it does recommend that you start with a smaller amount and add to taste. So I am going to start with some Italian seasoning. I love my food extremely flavorful. Those of you that follow my channel know that. So I always add quite a bit of spices to most of my dishes. I'm also going to add some cumin. And again, this is what's actually going to give it that nice, rich chili flavor. I will test it, and then I can always go back and add more if it's not quite enough. I'm also going to add some red chili pepper. This one I don't want to go as crazy with because it adds quite a bit of heat, and I am not a spicy food eater. So I'm not going to go too crazy with that. We are also going to add in chili powder. So again, that's going to bring a little bit of heat as well. So I don't want to go crazy with the red pepper flakes. I'd rather have that smokiness of the chili powder. And then we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of ground pepper. And then I will go ahead and add some pink Himalayan sea salt to the dish as well. And we're going to let this come to a boil and saute until those vegetables are softened. Once your meat and veggies have come to a boil in that broth, it is time to add in the tomatoes. So I'm going to add my can of the S&W diced tomatoes. And again, I am substituting these diced tomatoes and also my tomato sauce for the big can of crushed tomatoes. I did not do very well shopping. I ended up using my crushed tomatoes for something else, not realizing I should have bought another can. So this should work just fine. Should serve the same purpose. I'm gonna go ahead and get that all mixed in. And then lastly, we are gonna add in a little bit of tomato paste. And I really, really like this Trader Joe's tomato paste. I love that it's in the tube because it lasts a lot longer than it does if you buy it in a can, because the can just goes bad really quickly and you end up having to throw a lot of the can away. So I definitely prefer the tube. We'll mix that in. We are going to let this come to a boil. I do want to let this simmer on the stove for about 20 minutes before we add in our beans and our vegetables, and then it will be done. But this looks absolutely delicious. I am so excited. Once your chili has simmered at a boil on the stove, we want to make sure our vegetables are fully softened. We are going to go ahead and add in, we are steamy. Hole mole. We are going to go ahead and add in our beans. So what I have here is some garbanzo beans that I have rinsed and drained. And I also have my red kidney beans that I have also rinsed and drained. And then this is the stage where we're going to add in our veggies. So if you are using corn and edamame, or if you do go ahead and go the shortcut route and use the COPYCAT, this is where you will add all of that in. And then you do want to go ahead and let your chili simmer on the stove for about another 15 minutes. And that just really infuses all of the flavors, thickens up your chili a little bit more. And this, my friends, looks absolutely amazing. Reminiscent of Panera. I love it. All right, our turkey chili is done. Yum. I am so excited. This is such a huge pot. I am going to divvy this out into 8 equal servings. You can do more or you can do less. I am going to do 8 servings because that would be essentially 4 ounces of ground turkey per serving, which is a total of 3 Smart Points. So if I do 8 servings, it's 3 Smart Points per serving. So let me divvy up my bowl and I will show you exactly what I'm going to have for dinner. So here is my chili. This is quite a large bowl of chili for only 3 Smart Points. I did decide to go ahead and have 4 saltine crackers for 1. And I weighed out over here 1 ounce of the Trader Joe's Lite mozzarella cheese. And I do want to go ahead and put that on top of my chili. Because this is such a low point dinner, I decided to go ahead and have that cheese. So this plate here, the chili, the cheese, and the crackers is only 5 Smart Points. Now, if you use 99% lean turkey, this would only be 2 Smart Points. Yum, yum. Thank you for joining me on another 5 nights of dinners. I hope that you enjoyed the 5 recipes that I shared with you. They were all absolutely delicious and big home runs in my family. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to give you a nice, big, warm welcome. Make sure that you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell. That way YouTube notifies you every time I upload a new video. I do upload pretty regularly, almost every day of the week, so you don't want to miss out. And again, if you love my video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know what your favorite one of the 5 recipes are, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.